Hmm.
I'm not gonna say what brand that is.
Okay, well, Susan, I hope we answered your questions. Barbara, thank you for the follow-up. As far as alternative EV batteries go, I'm not sure if anyone here has any advice on that. I think Susan mentioned.
Yeah, Brandon, I would say right now, just get lithium ion. Either the LFP lithium iron phosphate or the lithium manganese cobalt nickel MNC or something. NMC is. Yeah, those batteries are proven, and pretty much every EV maker sells cars with those batteries. I don't know of anybody in the US that sells like a sodium ion EV. There's also been talk of solid state batteries, but again, they're not commercial yet. So if you want an EV and you want it, in the next year or two, just get lithium ion. It's really your only choice.
Okay.
Apparently the Teslas have it.
Teslas are both, some of the Model 3s are lithium iron phosphate, and the rest are all NMC.
Nickel, magnesium, cobalt, so.
Yeah, nickel, manganese, cobalt.
Manganese. So, yeah, Susan, I'm not sure if sodium batteries are on the table yet in the commercial market, at least in the US.
Well, to be clear, there is a company that sells sodium ion batteries. It's called Jume. They're like 12-volt batteries to replace the 12-volt battery in the car, or 12-volt deep discharge batteries for RVs or marine use. So those are available, but they're just not EV brand. They're for auxiliary power.
I read that there's a car manufacturer in China that has just come out with a sodium battery.
Yeah, I think I heard that too. Yeah, but I don't think you can get a Chinese EV.
Not the US, maybe Canada.
Maybe Canada, yeah.
I've seen BYD vehicles in Mexico when I was there last year. They're somewhat common.
Yeah.
Apparently the aftermarket is not that good for them though.
Why not?
It's just probably has something to do with logistics chains. We probably focus on selling cheaper EVs, more affordable. Maybe haven't invested in a maintenance budget or market share and all that stuff.
Well, EVs don't need maintenance. I'm not sure what my mailman is. Because I'm jealous. I see all the features, I see the price, and I'm like, oh. My mailman said, look, I'm Chinese. He goes, I know about what they're selling. He says, yeah, they're selling them cheap, and there's a reason why. That's what he said. He said they're probably not at the standard that our cars are, even though they have all those features.
Interesting.
Well, they're all 100 producers from China of electric car. So, and BYD is a pretty good name. They sell them in Europe. We've gotten good ratings, but we just don't get them. So if you get a high quality,
Yeah, that's.
Over 100 manufacturers? Wow. So it's a huge EV market. Competitive.
Anything busy.
Yeah.
Technology. The reason I do this is because they're so heavily self-sufficient. It's amazing, but I think a lot of their technology, I think a lot of, if they're let into the American market, American car companies are toast. Chinese car companies, I think they do have faults, but they're a lot better. I mean, they can charge cars full in under 10 minutes. I think that's it. That's it. You don't have to worry about it.
They even have battery cars that you can drive over and change the battery just with a fresh battery.
yeah, but you don't want the old batteries, it's in the prices. Tesla had a station down at Harris Ranch where you could exchange the batteries, but, do you take somebody else's battery?
Well, we can't, no, so
That
you
was
just switch it
never
out.
how that worked.
Well, they take and you drove down and you drove back.
And you got your old battery
Yeah.
back.
No, but very often now they're.
Right, but in the case of the pure battery swap, where you just go in and they give you a fresh battery, you don't own the battery anyway, you're leasing it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you care? You get a bad one, you just go get another one.
Okay.
Isn't that the arrangement that they have in France?
Maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
So you're leasing the battery, not the car, or you're?
Well, you can buy the car, but the battery you never own. You're basically just leasing it. You're buying the charge in the battery, and then when it is discharged, you get another one and you pay for that. But just for the charge inside.
Okay.
And probably some wear and tear on it. But you never owning a battery.
I'll take a lead down.
Is there going to be an agenda for the meeting? What are we, this is one of my first meetings to come to. I wonder how it's set up.
So typically, we start with introductions, EV hot topics, and then Q&A. Then we have 1 to 2 presentations. And then we have EV show and tell discussion, some mingling for the rest of the meeting. Sometimes our presentations go up until like 10 minutes until the end of the meeting time. That happened in the last meeting. But today we have one presenter, so we'll have ample time for some show and tell. There's a Lucid Air and a Lucid Gravity here on display, as well as a Peter's BMW, right?
It might be.
Oh, your BMW, pretty deal.
We squeezed the Cybertruck in the parking lot.
Oh, and a Cybertruck too. So, I think there's some great cars here, great models here today if you want to check them out. I'm gonna check them out too, so. Yeah, I was gonna ask any more questions, before we head into the presentation for today's meeting? Great discussion on EV batteries, I learned something new about, Chinese EVs. Pretty cool.
I do have one more question. So, those of you who come here regularly know I'm in search of a 2026 Nissan Leaf to buy. And they are, very scarce. So I'm starting to think, well, maybe a Bolt. So, they're pretty scarce too, but they're 3 or 4 times the number of those out there that there are these leaves. Does anybody know the right plural of leaf? Yeah.
If it was a plant, it would be leaves.
Just
Yeah.
leaves.
Just sounds funny to say
Yes.
leaves. So any Bolt owners or people who know people, I know this is a somewhat redesigned Bolt, the one that's out now. But any feedback about, it hasn't got the range that the Leaf does, but I could.
It's $5,000 off at Epic plus your Costco. Plus what else you can bargain out of them. And it's not for the base model, so you have to go a little, not for the 1LT.
So in terms of, I've never bought an American car. I have always bought Japanese cars and, anything I should worry about buying from Chevrolet?
I got mine at the Chevy in Vacaville in May of last year before I didn't know what Trump was going to do with the tariffs. And I got the EUV. They had a regular Bolt and an EUV. It's about a foot longer. I like it, a little more space. I get the 250 range and so far very pleased.
I should just 285 on a full 80% change.
And which model do you have?
A Blazer, it's the sister car of the Equinox, it just had a little bit more space.
Okay, so,
There's no EUV and regular, so there's only the EUV.
yes, oh, really?
And no, I would say if you find one, because you can go online and just put it in the vehicle, and then whoever has it, it will pop up, that's all time on YouTube. But I would definitely call them, and I would definitely say I'm really interested in it, and I'm just gonna say that it's been my experience in buying electric cars, that you do a lot of research on it and find out everything you can about it, and usually when you know a lot about it, test driving is sort of a moot point, they all drive the same. And so there was a car that, I know I was buying in the past, and if I used my used car, like I bought it. And I said, I know how you guys are, what do I need to put down on it so that when I get there, it'll be sitting on the lot? And he said, well, you need to put 1,500 down. I said, done. Gave them the credit card over the phone. They held it for me until I got there, because I had experience, where I looked for a vehicle and I found it. I had done all the paperwork, on phone. It was, everything was done, ready for me to sign, and I'm on my way there, and it was 2 hours away. And I was an hour in, and the salesman says, well, you called me, because someone's looking at the car, so-and-so is salesman. So then I kept trying to call the other salesman, and he would not pick up the phone. Then he called me back 15 minutes later and says, hey, to tell you this, but they sold it. I said, but I did on the for he goes, I know. So what I learned is that, I would say, I know how you guys are. It's not gonna be there when I get there. What do I need to put down on it? So it'll be there when I get there.
And just a question, do you think it's better off for buying it from a dealership, or you could go on, people are selling them online? What do you think? What do people think?
You mean like,
Secondhand.
used ones?
Yeah,
Oh,
are you buying new?
I have never in my life bought an American car or a used car. I buy them new and keep them for
In that
20
case, a
years.
dealership for a new one.
Yeah.
All right.
Skip the dealership.
Really?
Because they make money to stay in the business, service department in the past.
Yes.
So they're gonna charge you union prices over time. And that's my experience. I haven't had problems with mine. Just when we had the tire rotated and a few little recalls they had. But no glitches with the dash or even the computers in the car and stuff. Yes.
The other thing I'd say, this was a long time ago, fun story, I was buying a Kia. And I got a price here at the university, and then I was heading down, I got it, and they dropped it by $1,000. Then I got back, I called it this, they dropped it, so you could compete between dealers. There's quite a bit of flexibility if you know what you want.
You text,
Mhm.
and just text Epic and get a phone.
Oh,
You know, text that, not at all.
Back around.
5,000, I know they're offering, because I asked them 2 weeks ago.
wow.
And I'm just gonna say, a lot of times when we get in really when you want certified people who work on it. Because you can't just take it anywhere, that you don't want to ruin your warranty. I thought I would have that.
That is a point.
They're variable maintenance.
Oh, it, our fleet that we've had for 10 years, and it's had its tires rotated, it had a new brake fluid, and its 12-volt battery needed to be replaced. That's it, in 10 years.
But the one thing I will say though about I think it's a federal law, that you can take the car anywhere you want. Warranty board. Now, you may not be able to take it to a third party garage because they may not be able to get the warranty reimbursement. But let's say you buy it at Epic, and you want to take it to a dealer in Vegas or you can do that with no problem. But you can't say, well, you need to buy it here. So
Yeah, I never had problems. I had a Bolt and I bought it in San Jose and I transferred it to the dealer to work warranty stuff.
You know, you can get some kind of fair thing for interesting over it, right? And then you start to work on it. I would want it. You could have someone work on it, but if they can't get the part.
It was my first American car, and so far so good.
That's very reassuring. Well, I just remember in the old days, I'd pull into the lot of Nissan or Toyota, well, originally Datsun, I go back that far. And I'd want a particular model, and there would be 35 of them on the lot, and you just, oh, I like the pink one, or, and it's just weird to suddenly have them, be scarce here. Yeah, and that's too bad. If more of them were available for sale, more people would be buying them anyway, so.
Why would have gotten the lead at the beginning of the year, but they didn't have anything, they had no discounts.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, thank you, everyone, for your wisdom.
So, I think it's about time for our presentation. Please, are you ready?
I'm ready.
And you didn't have to introduce yourself earlier. All right.
I haven't already.
Okay. I'm Fabrizio Saraceni. I have 5 plug-in cars. 4 are 100% battery EV, 1 is a plug-in hybrid, and then I have my internal combustion engine car. So I have 6. I want to talk about my experience just last 3 weeks ago. Renting an EV on my vacation to Las Vegas. Normally, I would drive to Las Vegas, but we didn't have enough time to get there to make the show that I wanted to see. We went to see Alice Cooper and Chris Angel, and they were performing on Friday night, and I was going to leave after work on Thursday. So I could try and drive, but I may not make it, so I fly. So I rented an EV. Next slide, please. This is the EV I rented. Mustang Mach-E, 290-mile range, 88 kilowatt battery, 150 kilowatt DC maximum acceptance rate. I'll explain that later. On an AC current, 240 volt, it could accept up to 48 amps or 38 miles per hour.
Press this button.
So knowing that I was going to rent an EV, I wanted to know where could I go charge it up. This is a map from PlugShare. The green dots are all AC 240 volt charging stations, public charging stations. The orange dots are all the DC fast charging stations. I was staying at my timeshare, the Holiday Inn Club Vacations, right off the strip. It has a couple of AC charging stations. I've been there before. I own one of the timeshares there. I'm a property owner. So I knew that they had chargers. These are the chargers that they had. They had a couple of Tesla destination chargers. They have in Clipper Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these were only 30 amps and 240 volts, 7.2 kilowatts. Put another way, getting 24 hours for every hour it's plugged in. However, this is an older picture. This is my Cadillac ELR plug-in hybrid charging at the station in 2019 when I was there. This car happens to have a 36-mile EV range, 16 amp maximum acceptance rate, gains about 12 miles for every hour it's plugged in. So in about 3 hours, I got a full charge. Now, I take away the AC charging stations because I've got the DC charger at my timeshare, but when you rent an EV, you have to return it with at least 80% charge. So I wanted to know, before I turn this car in, because I got 290-mile range, I'm just riding around Vegas for a few days. I don't need to be charging it up every night, but I'm going to need to charge it up before I take it to the airport. These are the DC fast chargers. However, well, if you need an app, PlugShare, ChargePoint, Blink, EVgo, Electrify America, Enel On Your Way, the one down in the lower right, that's a Florida one, Shell Recharge.
Weevo,
What's that?
Weevo, that looks like my Weevo, never mind.
It could be. 7-Eleven, another one, charge free to move. This one, I mentioned that the chargers at my timeshare picture I showed you was an older one. When I got there, they had changed out the some of the EV chargers. And the Clipper Creek ones, they now have Monta Charge. So I had to pay for it. I had to get an app. So when you're on the road and you're charging up, all of them want an app. Now, some of them you can use a credit card directly. Sometimes it doesn't work. So be aware of that. The problem with a lot of the public chargers, they're not working. This picture here is in West Sacramento over by IKEA. Near the Quick Quack car wash. Brand new, they've been roped off. This is the EV Go charger in Woodland. Nice screen. This is the whole bank. There's only one combo plug of these that works and one Chademo. That's it. Everything else offline broken. I sent an email to EV Go saying, "What's up?" They said, "Oh, too bad, we're taking it away." They're going to remove all of them. So when I went to go charge the Mustang before I turned it in, I looked at the PlugShare map, and it's like, wait a minute, this is a Ford Mustang. It should be able to use the Tesla network. They were one of the first non-Teslas to be on the Tesla network. Problem. I did not have one of these.
Adapter.
This is an adapter to go from NACS, North American Charging Standard, to the CCS1, the combo plug. I didn't have it with me. So I looked up where could I find a CCS DC charging station close to the airport. This is the closest one. Problem was, you could see 5 out of the 6 spots were occupied, and there were people waiting for that 6th spot. What do I do? Well, as I mentioned, these are the manufacturers whose cars are now compatible on the Tesla network. The first one was Ford, then Rivian, General Motors, and so on. The last 2, BMW and Stellantis. When I got my Chevy Equinox, it was already compatible with the Tesla network. You had to get an approved adapter. Well, I got my approved adapter from General Motors. This is the one that was marketed for BMW when BMW got approved. There are differences, and I'll explain the differences and why one is better than the other. So if you're looking at any of these cars, know that right now, today, these are compatible with the Tesla charging network with an adapter, but many of these are converting to their newer models as they come out with the NACS, the Tesla plug on them already, in which case you won't need an adapter. All right, so Tesla charging superchargers, where are they? Here they are in Vegas. The charger that I was looking at, the one that was all full, was down here, right by the airport. And if you can see, there are some of these have got like a little lightning bolt, and some of them got a NACS adapter as a symbol. There's a difference. In the table, you could see you got superchargers, Tesla, NACS partner, other EV. The Tesla superchargers, the ones that are checkmarked Tesla, are only compatible with Teslas. They're not compatible with the partners. To be compatible with the partner, have to be the NACS partner, but other EVs will accept any EV, and for those, you don't need the adapter. So take away the Tesla only, and here are the chargers. Oh, the charger I want is still there. I can still use it if I have an adapter. But what about what they call the magic plug? The one that can work with any EV if I don't have the adapter in Vegas. So this is my Dodge Charger Daytona. And this is the charging station over by Trader Joe's. It's actually next to PetSmart. It is compatible if I have an adapter. I pull up my Tesla app, attach the plug to the adapter, and select my adapter, connect it. The other thing is the length of cords. I'll get to that. So next door to those 6 chargers that were all occupied, 28 Tesla superchargers. I have a plethora of options. And that's what I find with the Tesla superchargers, is that in Davis, there are 20 of them. Here, there were 28. There's like 20 plus 16. Whereas the non-Tesla charging locations, 4, 3, 2. Not everything works out because a lot of them have got short cables, especially the older ones. So you have to take up more than one spot. The ones that are like this with the opening, those are the short cable ones. This is my BMW. I'm charging up by Target in Woodland. Fortunately, I was able to squeeze it over just far enough that I didn't have to take up 2 spots. But it was a tight squeeze. All right. So here are the magic docks in Vegas. That's right, there aren't any. So I was out of luck. I was like, what do I do? I don't know when I'm going to see a vacant spot at the CCS. I can't use the Tesla chargers. What next? I drove 4 miles to the Shell Recharge. That's why I have that Shell Recharge app. Now, I had to charge up. I had to have at least 80% when I turned the car in. These superchargers, all the DC chargers in Vegas are capped. It won't let me charge beyond 85%. So, fortunately, with 290-mile range, that extra 5% would be enough to get me from where I was charging to the airport and have at least 80% left. All right, so Magic Dock. I was talking about this. This is over in West Sacramento. There is a Magic Dock there. So if you have any EV and you don't have an adapter and you want to use a Tesla supercharger, this is compatible. What you have to do is on the Tesla plug, there's a soft button that you push. Hold that for about 2 seconds, then push up, and then it'll pull out the adapter. If the adapter doesn't come out, I'll get back in, try it again. Go through that a few times till it comes out. And it looks like this. The difference is this one has a little button here to release the charger. So if I had this, I could use the other Tesla charger. However, I have to press this button to remove it from the car. Then, while I'm holding this, I have to somehow push this as I'm pushing the Tesla charger cable out. It's hard. Where it is. Whereas this, which is by Electron, And there's another company called A2Z, A number 2Z. I push this with my thumb to release it from the car. And then I push this button with my index finger and my other, and freeze my other hand. So this one works a whole lot better than this, as far as removing them. They both work excellent in charging the car and doing what it's supposed to do. It's just that last piece of releasing it, which is a little complicated. So after you plug in the car, you plug the Tesla cord into the adapter, plug it into the car, and it may take up to a couple of minutes to start charging. Then this is what my screen looks like. If you notice, this was on my Dodge Charger. Maximum rate, 132 kilowatts. So going out in public and you're looking for a charger, you're gonna see, oh, 350 kilowatts, 150 kilowatts, maybe even find one that has 50 kilowatts. Doesn't matter if I've got a 350 kilowatt, if my car can only pull 132. So knowing that can help you find a charger, because a lot of people, when they go charge and say, oh, I want the 350 because it's faster, freeing up the 150. So here I am plugging into my Dodge Charger. So I've got the BMW i4 M50, Dodge Charger Daytona. I also have a Chevy Equinox EV. I have an original Tesla Roadster. Now that one I cannot charge on DC fast charging. But I got my Clipper Creek charger with that one. All right, so what about us? Here's our area. And these are all the different Tesla superchargers. These are the ones that are compatible with the Max partner and other EVs. That's the one that is over by Trader Joe's PetSmart. And here are the Magic Docks. These are the ones you don't need an adapter. You don't need to have one of the vehicles that are on the partner. They have the adapter already built in.
So I have a question.
Yes,
So, do all of them have that location on Magic Box? Or
Yes.
just select
all of them,
that they're all-
all of them. And there's a Starbucks, there's a Mexican restaurant, and across the street is a 7-Eleven. So that was my lesson learned on my trip to Vegas. Lesson for me is take this with me. It'll give me more options, because I hadn't done my homework ahead of time. I was kind of in a rush, but had I done that, I would have seen, oh, there are no Magic Docks. I'm renting a Ford Mach-E. Let me bring an adapter with me. Now I have a plethora of options.
One thing I will say is that we rented an EV in Minnesota and go from Minneapolis to Fergus Falls. It was Polestar CCS 100. Every single Tesla supercharger on the ground, every single one, every single station had Magic Box. So we were basically using Tesla superchargers.
The maps that I showed you with the chargers, the ones that had both the DC fast chargers and the AC chargers, that was from PlugShare. The ones that showed just the Tesla charger, the red dots, that was from Tesla on their select charging and find a charger. Those were very helpful to find where they are. Now, PlugShare will have the location of the Tesla chargers as well. But for my demonstration today, I use the Tesla map because I can filter out all the different types.
Did they not offer the adapter to you at the rental?
Not when I picked it up, I didn't think about asking.
I'm not sure that they will. We've never asked.
Yeah.
I've never rented an EV with any kind of charging work.
Or that they give you $110 or something.
This is, one of these chargers is about $200.
No, I mean rental would have to insure
No, I'm just saying that for information, one of these adapters is about $200.
One other thing too, just when we go on trips, we never will take the fast charger adapter, but the destination charger adapter. So we can charge our K72 with the Tesla.
Yeah.
You need both if you're gonna try. So,
Yes, and these chargers, these adapters rather, will not work with a AC Tesla destination charger. I tried.
I tried my adapter on old Gen 1 supercharger and it failed. I figured that out too.
Yeah,
After two tries.
the ones that are Tesla only do not work with an adapter. So the other thing was that if you go to Google Maps and do a street street view, you can see what kind of chargers there are, how they're configured. Whether they are the older style with the big opening, which means a short cord, or are they positioned, instead of being all lined up in a row flat, are they positioned like dominoes, which now gives you more flexibility to reach your charge port? Or are they the newer ones where they're all closed, which have a longer cord as well? After I did this, I went on a road trip up to Lawson Volcanic National Park, about 2.5 hour drive, and found a charging location, the Tesla chargers, where they had the short cords, but they were lined up, and you just orient your car so that the charge port is close to the station. Unlike the other picture where you had to do it sideways.
And then if you go to a place where there are no chargers at all and there's a campsite. I've done that too. I think Peter told us that story and I never forgot it.
That's another story.
No.
Do we have time?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have about 25 more minutes.
All right. So I mentioned my Tesla Roadster. Original owner got that in 2010. Had my Clipper Creek charger for 15, 16 years now. And when I got the car, the Tesla salesman, there was no brick and mortar Tesla store in Arizona. That's why I bought my Roadster. So the salesman came to my house, opened up his laptop, and we started talking about the Roadster and how to order it. And he said, you could charge this anywhere. You could go to a campground and charge it up. It's like, okay. But it can accept 70 amps at 240 volts, which equates to about 52 miles for every hour it's plugged in. Give or take. Sorry, 56 miles. 56 miles for every hour it's plugged in. But on a 40 amp, on a 50 amp circuit where I would pull 40 amps at a campground, that's 32 miles for every hour it's plugged in. My son wanted to go on a road trip. I was planning to go on a road trip to San Diego from Phoenix. Big car show, wanted to show off the Roadster. This was like 2012, thereabouts. So planned a road trip from Phoenix to San Diego. 6 hour drive. Range of the Roadster would get me to Yuma, which is halfway. So it's about a 3 hour drive. I would have to charge for at least 6+ hours at a campground. That did that. So I started thinking, well, what can I do? Oh, is there a hotel close by where I could walk to the hotel from the campground? No. Well, I could call up Enterprise. Enterprise would bring me a rental car and then I could drive around. Wait a minute. I got an EV. What am I doing? I'm going to go get a gasoline car. It kind of defeats the purpose. So I figured if I could break up the drive into smaller segments and charge up for a shorter period of time, I could while away the time. So called up a couple of campgrounds along ahead of time just to get everything ready. So the first campground was 2 hours away. And I charged up there. The owner came out, opened up the rec room. We watched TV, but didn't really watch a movie because he just wanted to talk about cars. And so I drove for 2 hours, but I charged up for 3. Every hour was getting 32 miles. So about 3 hours to gain 100 miles, plus whatever I had left over. And that got me to the next campground, which happened to be El Centro Naval Air Station. And they had a campground plugged in there. Same thing, I was going to stay there for 3 hours. And they have a bowling alley, movie theater. I was able to, and it was lunchtime anyway. And so I was able to kill the time. Everything worked out great. Then I went on to my hotel in San Diego. One problem. I calculated down to the watt mile, how much I would need, keep my watts per mile below a certain level so that I could get to where I needed to go. I forgot about elevation. So now I'm going over the mountains because I figured I'd get to my hotel, plug in and be just fine. I'm looking at my miles, at my roadster saying, this is your range. Here's your range. Here's your range. And I'm like, James, we may have to stop between here and the hotel and charge up. Because I had already looked at places to charge up. It was getting dicier and dicier until I crested. Once I crested, I started seeing my range come back up. When I got to my hotel, I had as much range as when I left the Naval Air Station. But when I plugged in at the Blink charger, and I will name names, I was only getting 16 amps. I was like, wait a minute, I was getting 32 in Arizona. What's up with this? So I called up Blink because at that time, because of the way that electricity was regulated, they could not charge me by the kilowatt that I had. It was by the time. And I called them up and I said, guys, you're ripping me off. You're now cut the amps in half, which means I have to double my time plugged in, which means you're charging me twice as much as I was getting elsewhere. The answer was, well, we had to reduce the voltage for the Chevy Volt because it could only take 16 amps. I said a certain word.
It started with D.
Yes, it did. So they basically said that we'll cut your rate in half to make up for it. But anyway, originally my plan was just go with myself. My son wanted to join me and was like, well, you know, father-son road trip, come on. The year before I had taken first prize in the car show and I got a trophy like this big. But now my son was with me. I was like, son, you realize if I win first prize again, you're going to drive back with me with that trophy between your legs because there's no room in the trunk. There was another car, another exotic car. It took first place. I got second. It's like, you lucked out. We just got this plaque. So you're good. And the road trip back, this time since I was going over the mountains first, I had a full 100% charge. Got there, no problem. Did the same thing backwards. And that's how I learned about charging at RV parks and planning. But when Tesla came out with their supercharging network, their plan was to put superchargers every 150 miles. Because their base model S, which came out at that time, only had a 160-mile range. So that was their intent. And what Elon said was, you don't need to go any further because how long can you hold your bladder?
Great rationale.
But
Great, thank you. You see how that- I don't think so. So thank you for those two great stories and some lessons learned. Good stuff. We're about 20 minutes out until the end of our meeting time. So this is the part where we can go check out some cool EVs, mingle, have some water, use the bathroom. I'm gonna try and bring my phone out there so I can not record, but I can capture some of the stuff. And yeah, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Oh, and Oygen, thanks for letting us come to your comments.
Yeah, thank you to Oregon for making the space available. Thank you.